Okay, welcome to August. Hopefully, we are set here. Are you with me, Mark?
I'm here.
You're here. Awesome. I'm just hopeful. Okay, it looks like we're streaming. It looks like all is good. Sorry for the delay. I'm still learning OBS, and I think my brain is overfull of learning things, but that's besides the point. Plus, Mercury is stationed right now, so everything has to be a little bit on the more challenging side, but it is what it is. Here we are. So, what's going on? Tell me how your July has been, because honestly, we had some interesting aspects going on in July. In fact, we're still in the middle of them. Um, how did you manage through this this time?
It's
Oh,
pretty much like a fight for survival every day. That's pretty much
awesome.
what it
That's
is. Pretty
wonderful.
much what it's been. It's just like uh being a planner and list maker. I've had to rewire my brain to like you get pockets of time where you get 800 things thrown at you a second, and then once you're completely overwhelmed, then you get like time to like you have to go back and like fix everything that was done incorrectly. And so it's kind of just like two different flavors to choose from now. It's just vanilla and chocolate. There's no banana raspberry swirl mocha chip latte flavor. It's just that there's chaos time and there's cleanup time, and like that's all there is. It's just maybe, I mean, we're in the middle of Mercury stationing. It's gone direct tonight, but it's still not going to be moving for a few days. And then two, we're in the middle of almost exactly in the middle of a 27-hour moon void of course. So uh I've been using these super duper extra long moon void of course periods to go back and clean up everything that got screwed up during the chaotic periods. So it's kind of like two steps forward, 37 steps back. Then
And
you have to
how is that working for you? Is it actually working for you to do it that way? Because
yeah, no, absolutely
yeah,
not.
not at all. Absolutely not. No, I
No.
hear you because it seems like there's been so much to go through, if that makes sense, right? So it's been so much to just unpack all at one time. And I feel like it's never ending. We just haven't gotten a chance to have like a stillness, right? That said, I will say, I have been rearranging a lot of things in my life. So I wasn't expecting Pluto on my Venus to be exactly the way it is because my Pluto, my Venus is at 5 degrees Aquarius. So I wasn't expecting it to be where things in my life that were changing are related to my work, but it feels like every tool I've been using with work has just changed over the last couple months. Like web developing tools, the only thing I really touch wood have not really changed is like art tools. But I mean, using this service OBS, which is different to us, and that's why I've been having these complications and trying to learn it and stuff. It's not difficult. My 11-year-old nephew could probably come over and tell me how to do it. But the point is, it's like all these different tools, just so much has changed. But I guess this makes sense because it's in my 10th house. But at the same time, I just wasn't expecting that. But Pluto's like, hey, I'm gonna hit your Venus, and you love your work, so we're gonna we're gonna change things around for you. And it feels it's not just Pluto either; it's all these other planets all over in this configuration. Um, we were talking, before we started this live stream too, and we were talking about, even though we're in July still, and of course this is about August, but we were talking a little bit about the upcoming full moon, which the upcoming full moon is going to be pretty intense with the Mars and Venus that are the moon, sorry, the sun and Jupiter are at the midpoint of Mars and Venus. So we have Mars and Venus Plus, we have the Pluto moon going on. I'll advance the chart here a couple days so we can look at that because this is still coming, but it is, it's a big thing. I guess I feel like more shifts for everyone is going on. What would you really say about this full moon here?
Yeah. For the beginners out there, the new moon is when the sun and the moon are at the same degree of the same sign. The full moon is when the sun and moon are in opposition. So a full moon is two planets, the sun and moon in opposition. This one we have the sun is conjunct Jupiter and the moon is conjunct Pluto. So we've taken what is already usually a powerful full moon and we've added the planet of expansion to the sun, and we've added the planet of death, transformation, and rebirth to the moon, which is the emotional processes. So this is going to be a full moon on steroids. This is, and not to mention this. I hate to to knock on other astrology posts and stuff that I see, but I've seen one going around saying that the big configuration that we have with all the planets at Sun, Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, all at 4 degrees. I'd seen some posts going around saying this is going to last a couple days or whatever, and it's like, if you look to June of next year, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto are all at 6 degrees. This is a long-term transit. This is
Right.
because I know somebody's going to post, oh, I thought all this big stuff was going to happen on this 1 second. No, that's not how the outer planet, that's how the moon works. Outer planets are long. They shift cultures, they shift dimensions, they shift timelines, they shift everyone's subconscious and their outer conscience and their inner conscience. And that doesn't happen in 2 seconds. These are long think of the 1960s, the Cultural Revolution, the Sexual Revolution, the Vietnam War, all that. I mean, the Vietnam War didn't end until 1970. I mean, people don't know this, but I mean, you can look it up. The Civil War, Jiminy Christmas, the Vietnam War. Hey, the Civil War might be coming back too. The Vietnam War, we didn't pull the last troops out till 1975. That's 10 years.
I never even really thought about that.
That's 10 years past the highlight of the Uranus-Pluto conjunction. And this is to find when we had Uranus. I mean, even forget the Mars and the Jupiter that were in this lineup. Just to find when Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto were all at 4 degrees of masculine and masculine signs, which are the air and fire signs, when they're all lined up at 1 degree of each other. You have to go back. It's like somebody found the date. It was like 12,300 BC. I mean, it was like 15,000 years ago.
Wow.
Yes, you don't. It's rare. It's rare that the outer planets are lined up at all. It's even more rare that they're all in either masculine or feminine signs. And Saturn's in a fire sign also. It's just that it moves faster than the other ones, so it's kind of sped up out of the configuration. But Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto are hanging around together, and they're hanging around together for a long time. This is not going to be, nothing happened July 22nd, so no, that's not how this works.
Yeah, no, that's
And
definitely
two,
not how it works.
yeah,
Um,
and two, having the sun and Mars in there, and then we've got like Mars is approaching trine to Saturn, a sextile to Saturn.
Mars is the sextile to Saturn. Wait, when is that? Now you're talking about?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
all of it.
now.
All of it's
Yeah.
happening
Yeah, yeah,
now.
yeah. I see that. Right, right. Right. Um, I know. It's not it's not stopping. And if you go back to in the summer last year, they were not as exact as they are, but it was instead of it being how it's Neptune here, it was Saturn because Saturn was there. So it was Saturn, Uranus, and Pluto. So then we just swapped it out because Neptune caught up, right? But the thing about the outer planets that like I didn't know this till maybe 10 years ago when I've been studying astrology for a long time. It just never clicked to me to think about this. You probably know this because you deal a lot with the outer planets. But Uranus, I think, only moves 4 to 7 degrees every year. So because of the retrograde phase, I think that's the right timing. But if you look at it, you look at the ephemeris, you can actually see that in a year's time, these outer planets move only a few degrees. I mean, they will move farther than that, but then they'll retrograde over it again. So you're getting these oftentimes multiple retrograde phases that they're going over the same place. You know, they just don't move that quick. I mean, Pluto takes over like 250 years or so to go around make one revolution around the zodiac. Isn't it something like that, 250,
Yeah,
280 or something? So I
but
mean,
Pluto only moves 1.5 to 2.5 degrees a year.
so I didn't know Pluto. I just remember because I did a video
Yeah.
like ages ago talking about this, and I was like, I never even thought about it. It was with Linda Berry, and she was telling me this. I'm like, that's the thing, I didn't never even gave that thought, because Uranus alone is just slow, but then not to mention Neptune and Pluto. So you're getting these seasons that are like not even just a season, they're like sometimes a year too long. And then I had Uranus, of course, on my ascendant forever, so that felt like it was never going to move, and it finally moved, but I mean that's what happens when you get one of these planets on your something in your chart. It's like a season changing you and shifting you in a different way, which is really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean Neptune only moves 2 to 3 degrees a year. Um,
Sometimes Neptune is on the like in the orbits. Sometimes Neptune is closer, further away from us than Pluto. Sometimes because their orbits cross a little bit. I don't know exactly when, but I do remember learning that too, and I was like, kind of mind blowing when you think about it. But sometimes Neptune is a little closer than Uranus, so it'll. The reason I say that is because it the further out is the slower that they go, because they'll just be that they don't both Neptune and Pluto move very slow. I don't know the exact degrees what they are for each one of them, and it probably depends on when it starts, but it how or the exact amount of years it takes to move through one revolution of the sun, but it's a long time. Neptune is what like what Neptune is about how many years? 200,
that,
do you know off the top of your head?
that's about around 248.
248. And what is Pluto?
It's somewhere around like 268.
Yeah, see, it's like not much. Yeah, it's just in considering.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you have like these transits that are hitting these outer planets, not everybody gets them. Like I was just saying, like having Pluto on my Venus, not everybody gets that in their lifetime, or they might be like babies or something if they do, So when you have them, they're strong. They mean something. They are pivotal parts to your life, which is really interesting to look at. So knowing your own chart is a good thing. I started a series, but I'm waiting to put it out after Mercury retrograde is just to tell everybody that they're just short videos to explain how to look at your chart, just the anatomy of a chart. And I'm going to go into deeper videos over time, but I'll start putting them out next week, just so you guys know if you're interested in it. If you haven't looked up your chart, I already made one years ago that you can just go to astro.com and look up your chart. I showed you step by step how to do it. So if you're kind of like, I don't know, I'm overwhelmed by all the things on that website because it is overwhelming because there's a lot.
It is.
Just I show you step by step and it's still the same steps. I looked at that and that was my inspiration. I was like, I'm going to start putting out little videos explaining just certain topics, not not dated by what we're doing here talking about forecasts, but that way you'll be able to understand a little bit better. My point in that is that if you know your chart and you know when you have one of these outer planets connecting with one of your planets, then you can understand these seasons that we're talking about and how they relate to you, which is really cool. Because as we're talking here, we're only talking about the transits themselves. It's like the collective of everyone as opposed to individual, energies. And you said something a moment ago about, you said something like, oh, nothing happened on the 22nd. Well, I understand that was when this whole configuration we're looking at was the strongest. But have you looked at any of the news? There's been so much chaos going on.
I can't even. I can't. I'm a news hound, and I can't even keep up with it anymore. I've been noticing. I've been noticing a lot. So first of all, I was totally the Neptune and Pluto transits. Neptune takes about 144 years to go around the zodiac, and Pluto's like 168. I think I said 244 and 268. It's 144 and 168.
Okay.
But I noticed the one thing I did pick up this week was a lot of strange deaths, like death numbers and stuff. Like I have Mars and Scorpio, so I always go back to death. There were 5 people that drowned in a river in Ohio, up where I am. 5 people in a family drowned on the same day. And then a day or two later, 5 people drowned together in Virginia at the same time. I'm like, that's odd. And then I noticed there was a weird celebrity death too. I've noticed a ton of car accident deaths. I don't know if there's any Godzilla nerds out there. The 847th reboot of the Godzilla franchise had this young deaf girl in it who was one of the main characters. She was deaf in real life, and that's why she would like communicate with. I know nobody cares about this. She would communicate using sign language with King Kong and the AI King Kong, but she just got killed in a car accident. She was only like 19 or something. But that's like something. It was just odd.
Wow.
There's just lots of odd deaths and things I've noticed. I mean, it's not that unusual to see somebody drowned, but have 2 different families of 5 all drowned together.
Yeah, that seems so strange because
Like
it's like,
a day or two
yeah,
apart. I'm like, that's odd.
that is odd. That is
But
very strange.
something else I wanted to throw out about the outer planets. The outer planets all spend like, I think it's 30 to 40% of the year retrograde, which is why they only move forward a couple degrees a year. So that means if you've got planets at the 3, 4, 5 degree mark, you're going to get multiple hits. It's not just the Pluto goes by and then it's done. It's very likely going to retrograde back over that and then retrograde and then go direct forward over it. So a lot of people are going to get 3 hits with months in between the hits. And that's why, yeah. And so just in reference, the moon moves 1 degree every 2 hours. I mean, Pluto moves just, a degree, 2 degrees in an entire year. That's the difference of the inner planets versus the outer planets. You can hide from an inner planet transit. You can't hide from an outer planet transit. It's there. It sits there. It hovers. It comes back. It goes forward. It comes back. It's the outer planet transits you have to deal with. You can't just, oh, I'm gonna stay in bed for the weekend. that works with like a difficult moon transit or a Mars transit maybe, but you can't do that with the outer planets because they don't move. They sit there until you come out.
They force you to come out. Yeah. It's true. Yeah, those outer planets are tough. So I did create a PDF, but I didn't get it up in time. So I will put the PDF in the link if you're watching this in the future, not live. There's going to be a PDF, which I've been doing every month for the last couple months, of the transits and a little bit of information about each one. So if you're interested in checking that out, you'll be able to download it after we go live. I'll put it up. I just didn't get a chance to do that. So I will do that, but I'll go ahead and pull it up here. So somewhere I can find it. There we are. Oops. And we can talk about what's going on in August. So as I'm pulling this up, I have a question mark. What is your top contender for the best, worst aspects of August?
So for me, I divide August into two parts. And like every year, like there's the because there's such a shocking difference between Leo and Virgo that like I kind of I don't like the calendars we use anyways. I think they're stupid, but the Leo part of Cancer or Leo part of August, you can tell Mercury's stationing because like neither one of us can talk properly. I can't get the right words to. So the Leo part of August is one vibe. The last 10-ish days of August, when things start moving into Virgo, that's a different vibe. That's a totally different animal. So I mean, like the most powerful parts of August, I would say, is the August 28th, because that's a lunar eclipse. It's on a full moon, and the sun and moon both form a T-square with Uranus. So again, this is not a normal full moon for August. It's not just the sun and the moon. Uranus is forming a T-square because it's forming a square to the sun and the moon. So we've got planets in 3 of the 4 mutable signs. So again, that's going to be a super crazy full moon. And then two, Jupiter is trine Saturn at that point, like on top of it. And we still have, so just a word on Jupiter. It just entered Leo a little bit. Like Jupiter flies through Leo. It goes almost all the way through Leo. And before it retrogrades, like I think it's like November or December or something. So I mean, it's a blip on the screen. Now Leo people aren't getting ripped off because there's a long retrograde period and it comes back. But the first part of so like June 30th is when Jupiter entered Leo, but it gets up to 20 27 degrees of Leo. So it moves almost all the way through Leo, up to the second week of December when it goes retrograde. Now it retrogrades back through the middle parts, but the people with the early Leo stuff are it moves faster than you would probably like for it to move.
Hmm. What that stinks. So you're saying this is the full moon that you're just mentioning, the August 28th full moon. So it's at a T square with Uranus, right? And
So
it's
it's
got
yeah, it's sun, moon, and Uranus are all at, because the eclipse degree is 5 degrees of the moon's at the moon's at 5 Pisces, the sun's at 5 Virgo, but also Uranus is at 5 Gemini.
yeah, and if you
And also,
look at
you know
this,
what? Mercury's at 5 Virgo, or 4 Virgo. Mercury's at 4 Virgo on the day of the eclipse. So actually it's a Sun Mercury conjunction opposite the moon, and all three of those get the square from Uranus.
yeah, and Venus gets involved too. If you, I don't know if you can see the chart on the screen. If I have sesquiquadrats put in this chart, and Venus is involved with the sesquiquadrat to the moon and to Uranus. So it's and to back to the sun and Mercury because it's a semi-square. So there is also a Venus energy in there too, you know. So,
Right. Well, you
so it's
also you've got the Pluto's still at 5 Aquarius. So
oh
I
that
mean,
too. Yeah. So that's also bringing this like feeling of more
yeah, no,
intensity. That's a trine. Yeah, or sextile to Neptune and then up back to Uranus too. So this is it's like it doesn't this is this with all the lower, planets that are in the lower degrees, the outer planets in the lower degrees, it's like everything that goes to the next sign starts going through that. So when we have the sun, we have Mercury going through Virgos, getting into there. That's what they're going to be connecting with all those outer planets. Yeah.
yeah.
So that you're
So
this is your favorite then.
well, it's certainly not going to be my favorite. But I'd say that's the most powerful. I mean, there's an eclipse on August 12th also, and we'll go into more detail on that. But it's not nearly like
That's a lunar eclipse, right?
that's a solar
Oh,
eclipse
solar
on the
eclipse.
12th.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that one's not nearly as
Mhm.
powerful as the one on the 28th.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's very mild in comparison.
Yeah. Wow. Well, okay. So let's go from the top to the bottom. Let's start at the beginning of August. So let's see here. August 3rd. So we have August 3rd, Chiron station retrograde at 1 Taurus, eventually retrograding back into Aries. Uh-oh. Did Mark vanish?
I'm here. I needed
Oops.
realize I needed my other ephemeris for this part, I think.
There you go. That's always important to have your ephemeris with you. So, um, I don't
Yeah.
pay enough attention to the Chiron cycles. I probably should do that. So it goes back into Aries. How long does it retrograde for? Do you know? Well, you've got
Okay. So
your
that's why I'm grabbing the bigger book. So it goes retrograde. Oh, stupid. They have. Oh, wait, hold on. I cheated. I got my 2027 book already to start marking notes in, so I can. Okay. So Chiron goes all the way back to 26 Aries, and it's going to station direct on January 5th of next year. Um, and then it will re-enter Taurus on oh my goodness. April 14th of next year. And so then Chiron, well, there may be one more dip back into Aries at the beginning of 2028. It gets down to 0 degrees and 4 minutes on December 31st of 2027. But that's way far in the future. So essentially, after the first week of January, Chiron will be in Taurus for good, pretty much.
Awesome. And so what do you feel about Chiron and Aries? Like what is what's the energy, I mean, of Chiron retrograde back into Aries?
So that's kind of like what we've been in the last, like, whatever, 8 years or whatever. Just the, it's the Aries is the warrior energy. So like, Chiron in Aries has kind of been like where the wounds come out. And so it's like, for me, Aries and Chiron was learning to, choose my battles wisely. I was probably spending too much time worrying about stuff that I could not alter. And that takes away from time that you can spend on things that you can fix.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's true too. And it doesn't I'm thinking about that because I have Chiron and Aries in my chart, but it's earlier degrees. But yeah, I think that's true. Choosing to pick your battles makes sense, not letting them overwhelm you. And you were right about the next Chiron and Aries. The next time it goes into Taurus for good is going to be in. Whoops, I went ahead. Is the April 14th, 2027. Yeah, that's when it'll move back into Taurus for good. So I just wanted to look at the chart. Okay, so that happens in 8/3, so August 3rd. And then we end up having the next thing is Venus entering into the sign of Libra. That happens on the 6th. That's actually a good place for Venus to be, right?
Yeah.
So Venus and
And
Libra.
much better than in Virgo, which I don't think that Venus is very happy in Virgo. And then,
Why is that? Why do you think it's not happy in Virgo?
Because it just tends to nitpick too much at things. So I know I've given this speech before. The difference between Pisces and Virgo is Pisces at least should be really good at the big picture stuff, at seeing the interconnectedness of all people, animals, everything on the earth, how they're connected. The weak spot of Pisces is not being able to figure out the minutia, not being able to figure out the small details of things, of how to, operate on the earth. This coming from a sun sign Pisces, I know what I'm talking about on this one. The good point of Virgo, the strong side of Virgo, is it's very good at getting deep into the weeds and fixing the little problems, the little glitches and things like that. But it may not even be its weak spot, is seeing the big picture. Like, it can't figure out when it's just like digging in the wrong hole. Like, it can't figure, like, it could be on the wrong continent digging in a little ditch for something and not know that they're pouring all this energy into the wrong area because they don't have the big picture
Mm.
part
Hmm.
of the. So that's where the balance is uh, Pisces finding the right place to work and then letting the Virgo part work at it instead of the vice versa of like you got to find the big picture on the map before you hone into the specific details.
Yeah, I mean, well,
The
that's
Virgo,
true.
yeah. So I guess what my point was before I got tangent number 28. Um, yeah, Virgo can be hypercritical in the wrong areas. But just like you were talking about, Pluto is conjunct your Venus. Um, it's been square my Venus and my Mars. So a large part of the last, say, 2 or 3 months for me has been um, tearing down the old wooden deck that was on the back of the house and
Hmm.
then digging up little pieces of dirt and trash and stuff that were in there, and we decided we needed to clear out extra stuff we had. So I think I've physically touched almost every single item that I own in the last 2 months
Wow.
because we've just been taking sections of the house, going through every drawer, going through clothes, going through hundreds of books, and just like and that's kind of the. I think that was one of my tangents last month that got cut out because of the audio. Probably, luckily for everyone, um, but that everyone runs towards Pluto being relationships, and that's more of a symptom than the actual base of it. The base of it is Pluto is your resources, or I'm sorry, Venus is your resources,
Yeah.
what's important to you. So, you know, when Pluto's conjunct your Venus, it doesn't mean your partner's going to die or something. It means that your values are going to change. That's the most likely outcome. Is
Mm.
you will find that stuff that you thought was important was not very important, and you need to spend more time on other things which you feel will, can be or have moved up in priority, and you feel can, benefit your life more.
I
So
have,
that's kind of
yeah.
it changes your values is
Yes.
the biggest thing of a Pluto Venus transit.
That makes sense. And I've had short patience for things that are just janky. Like, like if this thing is not working right, I just like, okay, I don't want to even use it. And I think that's why I started changing so many different programs and things that I'm using, because I got to a point where I was like using this. It started with a website developer tool that I use, and it just got janky. And I just was like, I gotta find something new, and I found something better, but then there was a whole learning curve that came with that, which was fun. And I did 90 million other things too that I just decided that that was, it's like I closed a chapter on it, like my server and stuff like that. I actually had been with since 2011 or 2010, something like that. Totally changed that too. So it's like all these things that have been with me and my work for so long and tools that I use, I just was like, yep, this isn't working anymore. And everything that I went to, I didn't want to go sideways. I spent my time looking at like what the best option is for me, and I found things that were better. I was just like, this, why did I wait so long? Which is good. I mean, I guess it makes sense. So I value my work, obviously, and I love what I do. I like designing, and ultimately, as I'm learning, getting better with the new tool, I'm getting to be able to do more, quicker, faster, all that stuff, which is kind of cool. Yeah. And I mean, that's a whole different change. It's like my value for what I was like appreciating for so long, using, it just no longer fits, you know. So that does make a lot of sense to me, what you're saying about Pluto and Venus too. So when Venus, we were talking about Venus in Libra, when Venus is in Libra, so you're saying that, is that more like bringing harmony to something, because Libra has that harmonious kind of energy? Like, is it bringing something, um what is that for people? What would they be feeling, I guess, is the question I have,
I
with
mean,
Venus and
yeah. So I mean, depending on how it hits in your chart, will change a little bit how it plays out. But in general, Venus is much more happy in Libra. That's one of the two signs that it rules. So it's much more harmonious and pleasant. So we're coming out of the Venus in Virgo, which is finding problems, making corrections, uh, working at, like, I was destroying our deck. I had to destroy it, and then you're given gifts out of that. Now, the yard looks better, and there's not a deck that's falling apart. And so then the Venus and Libra part is beautifying the hidden gems you found with Venus and Virgo.
there you go. That makes sense. Yeah. So then, and I've done the same thing too. It's kind of excavation of closets in my bedroom that I haven't gone through for a while. And just like, I did a whole bunch of things I'm thinking about in my own life, and how I've been doing that, kind of like getting things out. It's interesting because when the Pluto Venus, which I think this is the next one, we'll talk about in a minute, the Venus trine Pluto that happens, that actually, I have a Venus trine Pluto in my natal chart, so I'm getting the same angle and they're conjunct the planets at Venus and Pluto in my natal chart, which is really interesting. But before we get to that, the Venus trine Pluto, let's talk about Mercury moving into Leo. So Mercury then, after today, Mercury is leaving today's what, the 23rd. Mercury is leaving its retrograde phase and it continues on, and then it goes into Leo. So Mercury in Leo, that happens on what day is it? The 9th. So Mercury's happy in Leo or no?
So so to me, it kind of is. Because so Mercury rules Virgo. That's Mercury's the other planet that rules two signs. It rules Gemini and Virgo, which, funnily enough, are square each other. Um, so Mercury kind of has two sides, because one of the planets that Mercury rules is Gemini, which is the twin. So there's two sides of Mercury. So Mercury entering Leo is more upbeat, pleasant thoughts. And your mental processes feel a little better. Especially after this extra long Mercury in Cancer phase, where we had the whole retrograde was Mercury in Cancer. So it should feel more lighthearted for boy, this is a super short Mercury transit. Mercury usually stays in a sign for 3 weeks, but because of the ecliptic, it's moving, and that's probably too why Jupiter is moving so fast to the first, 2/3 of Leo. But there's only like 16 days of Mercury in Leo instead of 3 weeks.
Oh, wow. That is really quick. I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, so that's so Mercury in Leo should be more pleasant thoughts.
Mm.
Moving on from the Mercury in Cancer, often has the need to over worry and things like that. So
Mm. Yeah, that's always fun. I guess it's moving quickly because it just came out of its retrograde and it just picks up speed. And plus, it's on the short side of the elliptic plane, the elliptic plane, elliptic circle. Yeah, so that makes sense. It ends up going into Virgo with the 25th. Is that what it is? Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Um, so okay, so then as the days progress, the next day on the 10th is when we have that when we have that Venus trine Pluto. So you see it starting to form here. Oops, not there. Starting to form here. It also does trine to Uranus too, but in a day ahead of this date here on the um so and it's actually because it actually makes, I think this is actually a kite pattern, if I'm not mistaken, with the softer aspects. I think that's what they call it. I might be mistaken on that one. I get confused on the names because some people call them different names, but the point is that we have the trine with a Pluto and Venus, and then of course it's going back to Uranus and then also Neptune. So there's a whole thing going on that day. And then Neptune opposite of Venus too, which is part of it. So, what do you feel about the Pluto trine Venus?
Yeah. So that's my fault. I totally missed the Venus. Yeah, because Venus is going to be trying Uranus and Pluto. So that's making an air grand trine.
Mm-hmm.
So that's Venus in Libra, Pluto in Aquarius, Uranus in Gemini. So we have an air grand trine there. So that's, if you've got planets at, 4, 5, 3, 6 degrees of the air signs, I mean, um, that's a super powerful transit. I mean, just the Uranus Pluto transit is about as powerful of, two planet transit as you can get. But then having Venus in there, I mean, that gives you, the extra oomph you might need to, if you have things you need to put into play or whatnot. Um, and again, too, Pluto is your values, or Venus is your values, Pluto's transformation. I can't say any of the words in the right order today. In my head, they're correct, but when they come out of my mouth, they're all. I'm saying
I'm
everything in
having
reverse.
I'm having the same problem. It's okay. We're in the same boat today.
But we'll have to hire a translator to
Right.
put our words in the right order. Um,
Exactly. Yeah,
yeah.
no, I mean, and if you have noticed, I don't know if you wrote this in the listing of things, but Mercury's at 1 degree of Leo when the trine is going on with Venus and Pluto. So it's sneaking up here too to make this opposition to Pluto as well. So you're getting, I mean, this is what I mean when all these planets switch signs, they end up having hitting these outer planets so much. See, I almost made that sound like I knew what I was talking about, but since my mouth is not coordinating with my brain right now, I kind of came out a little slow or something. I don't know. I'm being silly, but um yeah, so Mercury also getting involved there. I'm glad that Mercury is finally getting unretrograded today. It's getting the demotion.
Yes.
It
Yes.
needs it because I feel like I've had one of those things. So I have never in my entire life lost a set of keys, knock on wood, but somehow a set of keys is lost. I think it might have been, I don't know. So I got one of and this is during the Mercury retrograde. So I got one of those little tracker things. Do you know these things?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, this isn't my keys. I got one and I put it in my headset case too, but because I'm constantly looking for that. But it's cool because that was, I don't know where the keys are. I put it on my second set of keys because I still haven't found them. I'm like, okay, I have one key left. The keys nowadays are not like the keys when we had just normal keys. They have all these buttons and things on them. So I'm like, I have two. So do I want to go spend $500 on a new key? I don't know if it's really that, but it's
Right.
not cheap. I'm like, or do I just buy this little tracker and I can track it? So I bought the tracker, but I mean, it seemed like such a Mercury retrograde thing. I'm like, maybe because it happened during Mercury retrograde, and this does happen. I noticed this, that in the next time Mercury retrograde comes up, that will come up again to have something resolve or something come to. Maybe I'll find it, because like I said, I've lived my whole life and never lost my keys before, but I've misplaced them, but I've always been able to find them. I know they're in my house somewhere because I last place is unlocking my front door. And I'm like, how does that happen? I mean, the
Right.
cats could have taken it. That's possible. I'm blaming it on them.
Right. Yeah.
Or my son came over. I'm sure that it could have been him too. That's why I was like, are you sure you didn't take my keys? He's like, no. I mean, he's an adult. So,
Right.
but yeah, fun. So yeah, I mean, this just seems like, but do you think that Venus and Pluto is like, do you think Venus softens Pluto, or do you think with the
Uh,
trine, or do you think it makes it?
it should soften it. Um, but I mean, in reality, every time I start talking about stuff, our feed goes glitchy. So I don't know. Okay. So our problem for mankind for the next few years, anyways. Uranus is trine Pluto. Uranus is in Gemini. Pluto's in Aquarius. Pluto is an air sign, even though it is the water bearer. It's not a water sign.
You just said, oh, Pluto's in an air sign. Okay, my brain wasn't on straight there thinking. Yeah, I know. It's a water,
And
it's in the water air
Uranus,
sign.
Uranus in Gemini rules the internet because Uranus is technology, Gemini is people. So our I'm seeing this everywhere in the United States and probably elsewhere also, but definitely the number one battle for the next few years is the data centers popping up and the amount of water they will need.
Mm,
This is a battle of resources.
mm,
The uh, amount of power outages and they all play dumb. The government officials all play dumb with this. Like, oh, we don't know how this is happening. But I mean, you can just search it. Everywhere these big data centers are going up, there suddenly becomes electricity issues and water issues. And Pluto is power structures. So Uranus, even though a trine is, normally it's good, I guarantee you the the problem coming up is water and power. And the planets back me up on this. The planets back me up on what I'm saying on this.
mm-hmm.
I'm if you're anywhere searching anything on the internet or any of your social media or anything, look at how many posts are about water problems and electricity problems and data center problems.
It's interesting that you say water because I got myself in reverse osmosis, so it cleans the water, because I was buying reverse osmosis water, but my son, he's a plumber, so I said if I buy one of these things, just puts under the sink, right? It's not the whole house, but it's under the sink. Will you install it for me? He's like, yeah, no problem, mom. So I buy it. I don't know. I bought it maybe a month and a half ago or so. I bought my mother has one and I liked it, and I was like, okay, like I'll save money because I buy bottled water. I was buying reverse osmosis from the grocery store. And I might have talked about this last month. I don't remember, but this is in the same context. This I got it like I said, like maybe a month and a half ago. And um I noticed that the water, because the water kept going up, it was like $1 for a gallon, then it was like dollar 20, $1.30. It was like $1.38 or 48 when I got the machine. So I'm like, or dollar 47, that's what it was. So then a week later, I'm walking through the grocery store and I just walk through the water aisle and I'm like, haha, I don't have to buy you anymore because like lugging them around and plus, spending the money or whatever. Of course, I have to maintain the machine, but overall, over time, it will be completely much
Right.
more
Yep.
money saver. It's up within a week, 11 cents. I kid you not. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So it was $1.50. I'm like, that's crazy. So I can tax that on to me using, a gallon and a half a day between myself and the cats, whatever of the water I would buy. This week, I went into the store and they had it on sale, 3 for $5. Are you kidding me? That's like $1.60 something a gallon. I'm like, this seems insane to me because you can buy soda like Coke or Pepsi or whatever, like, and it's cheaper. I don't really understand that. I mean, that's also expensive too, but at the same time, it's like water seems like it should be something very accessible to humans. You know what I mean? It just seems like that resource is getting more limited and it's just like slowly creeping up there. And I've been paying attention to it because I got this, water cleaner system. But I just feel like we don't notice it because they do it little increments at a time. And for someone that's normally, is just like whatever. But I feel like everything has done that, in the last like few years, even worse than when it was even what I would say like in 2020, that's when it seemed to start really speeding up. Did you notice that too, or is it
Oh,
like something
yeah,
you've noticed?
I work part-time in a grocery store.
Oh
I see
yeah, so
that.
right.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
sick about that.
I see the prices on. It ain't the price of there's no prices on anything that are going down.
Yeah, it seems so crazy. And the grocery stores we have here, there's one, the Publix. It's a nice grocery store, but like it's so expensive unless they have like the buy one get one free things. It's not worth it going there. But then even then they'll do like this buy like, oh, the sale for water for three gallons for $5, and I'm like, that's not a deal at all. It's actually more than it was like 2 months ago. So it doesn't
Yep.
make any sense to me. So I guess what I've also been doing in terms of like, working with my own resources with the Venus Pluto thing going on is thinking about ways in which I can save money, like that with the whole water system thing. It cost me a couple $100 to put it underneath my sink. But over a year's time, it'll have paid for itself. I have to change the filters ever so often, every 6 months or whatever. Even then, it still pays for itself. So if you can, possibly do things like that, that's always helpful. That's a very adulting thing kind of thing to learn, but it's always very helpful to try to make yourself, a little bit more sustainable, I guess. Do you guys live in like an area where it's more rural, right? So
Yeah.
do you have
Our
like city water, or do you have water that is coming from the land?
No, we have a well. Actually, our well blew up a few months ago.
Oh
So
my.
we went 10 days. I don't want to say we didn't have any water, but we could like run it for like 5 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes at night while we,
Wow.
because of course it blew up it was Memorial Day weekend.
Oh my God.
And it happened on a Saturday. So
So
of course
nobody wants to come out,
we,
or they're twice as
right.
much money.
Yeah. So we got somebody to come out the day after on the Saturday. But so we were 10 days without water. Now we cost a boatload of money that we don't have. But in retrospect, it got so hot after that. Our water pressure and water quality was so much better that's kind of how the, like you were talking about with having to redo all the streaming services and the stuff that you use.
Mm-hmm.
We had Uranus trine Pluto, the water bearer. We had the explosion. So it cost a bunch of money, but now our water's much better than it was, because we found out that the last well was 1/5 of the depth that it was supposed to be,
Oh,
because it
wow.
was because it was built like 100 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And
So what
so
did
then
they?
so then the next problem is, then once we got that fixed, it blew up the spigot in the horse barn, because it had been running at, probably 10% water pressure from what it was for the whole time we've lived here. So we had to get the spigot in the horse barn fixed. But again, now it used to take like 3 different attempts, and it would take like an hour to fill a bucket, the horse's water trough. Now it takes like 5 minutes. So again, that's the uh you can take trauma and use it to improve parts of your life.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that's very true. You take the difficult and transform it in some way or another to make it better.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, extremely painful financially and smell wise, I'm sure, for the 10 days without, more than a 30-second shower is not, that's not really up my alley.
Oh my gosh. And you have like, I'm sure since you have a well, you have a water cleaning system because you're not going to be showering in well water,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Oh, we did for about the first year we were here, but it was like, oh man, the smell and
oh, I have wells
this,
for my sprinklers and it's just, I
yeah.
can't even, I don't even like the smell of them. It's like, but you got to use them. Otherwise your grass is black, dies. Yeah, that's rough. Wow. So what a wet story.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, goodness.
Well, let's see. Go back on to we talked about the Venus trine Pluto on the 11th. We have Mars moving into the sign of Cancer. Oh, lucky Cancerian people. So that happens on the 11th. Let's go ahead a little bit. Okay, so what do you feel that Mars and Cancer is bringing to the table? Look at this chart. Do you see the chart I pulled up?
I can't on there. Let me see if
Yeah, I just pulled up August 11th.
I wonder if, because I can't see the chart, but I wonder if I go to, let me, I'm going to click on the link and see if it shows it up there. Ah, video unavailable. That's weird. Okay. So just, I think a heads up, we may have to re-upload this video onto YouTube
Oh, really?
afterwards, because I just clicked on the link and it says video unavailable.
I'm looking at it on YouTube. It seems to be
Really?
on. Yeah. Are you on the old link?
Yeah.
That's why,
Okay.
because the link is
Okay.
new, but that's
Okay.
okay. Yeah.
Okay. There, okay, I clicked the home onto your page. Okay. Now I can see the chart. Okay. So I'm the maybe one person, maybe one in a billion people on the earth that um, does not hate Mars and Cancer. I like.
I need an explanation
I
over
ac-
here.
I actually like Mars in Cancer. I know I'm the only person on the earth that likes Mars. I just, if I live through Mars and Gemini, I'm good at that point. I don't I don't deal well with anything at like 18 to 22 degrees of all the mutable signs except Pisces, just because how it hits on my chart. Like 18 to 22 degrees of Virgo, Gemini, or Sag is a killer for me. Because I've got
Mm,
that natal Uranus Pluto conjunction, and it just nothing that I do is going to work. It's just like how much bloodshed is there going to be during that period. So me personally, I like Mars in Cancer. It hits all my water planets. It hits my water grand trine. I am totally good with Mars in Cancer. I know I'm probably one of 3 people on the earth that feel that way.
3.
But yeah, I know that nobody agrees with me. Um, but that's a crazy amount of Leo right there. I mean, so the nodes have just recently shifted at the end of July. So you've got South Node, Sun, Jupiter, Moon, Mercury, and in that chart, midheaven, all in Leo. So that's a lot.
That is a
Um,
lot. Yeah.
and the lower guys are square to the Chiron and Taurus. But again, for me, I'm good. I'm good with the Mars in Cancer because that's kind of I have Mars in Scorpio, so Mars in a water sign is how I operate anyways. I know everybody else. Look, you're here. Here's the deal. When Mars is in Cancer, especially with it squaring Saturn and Neptune in Aries, you're going to find yourself being around a lot of tears. You're going to be around a lot of people that are crying. That's the nature of Mars in Cancer.
Mm,
I'm not going to be doing the crying because I'm used to it. I'm used to the Mars the Mars in a water sign. Other people cannot really handle it. And in fact it's not even that. I've noticed I thought that I think this is part of uh the pieces we lost last month when I had no audio. I thought that the Neptune and Saturn and the early degrees of the fire signs was going to be beneficial, like
mm-hmm.
for the early fire sign people. But I noticed it while it may have been beneficial, I saw lots of people like at work and stuff. I saw lots of people like in tears or close to tears, and it wasn't
Mm,
out of sadness. It's because neither Saturn nor Neptune are happy in Aries, so it was pure frustration related tears, and this happened multiple, like more than 3 times, like especially like when we had that like Saturn Neptune conjunction and stuff. And a lot of these people were like early degrees of fire signs. And I'm like, man, I thought that they were going to be enjoying this energy, but it's not. It's that constant initiative to be on the move and then just seeing how screwed up everything was getting because everyone was going too fast. And mixed in with these crazy long mood of these 22, 27, 36 hour moon void of course periods. This doesn't happen. This only happens when you have all the planets, all the outer planets in the really low degrees of signs together. Because if you've got a planet or two that's in the late degrees or something, that's kind of a stopgap. so that there's an aspect before the moon leaves that sign. But when you have them all at the low degrees, and every time the moon changes signs, we get this, because as soon as the moon enters a new sign, it's making an aspect to Pluto. It's making an aspect to Saturn, or to Neptune. It's making an aspect to Uranus. And so here, when Mars enters Cancer, Mars is going to be in the early degrees. So we're getting these big pileups of the moon makes 73,000 aspects the first 6 hours after it enters the sign,
And
and
then
then there's nothing. Then there's a 29,000 hour moon void course period. So it's like, and I've so even when I'm doing other shit, all I think about is astrology, really, and like how it applies to things. So I've noticed there's these incredible mashups of energy the first 10 to 12 hours when a moon enters a sign. And then it's like, then we get like the second half of that sign, we get that like long moon void of course period to kind of integrate the 800,000 things that happen the first few hours of the moon being in that new sign. So the moon changes signs every 2.5 days. So every 2.5 days we get a gigantic influx of energy. And then we also get, normally a fairly long, if not super long, moon void of course period at the end of it. So my thoughts on this is like, reality is speeding up so much with Saturn and Aries, and with the other outer planets too. But mainly because Saturn rules time. So Saturn being in Aries, it just wants to chug along as fast as possible. And I have Saturn and Aries in my birth chart, so I'm going to swear this one is true. It's like we're living multiple months of living, or years even, and like how things used to be in a very short period of time. And then I'm seeing like the karmic response or karmic blowback on things happen like super close to when things happen. Like I don't have to say anything to anyone anymore. Like it just, there's like instant karma, I think is the phrase. Like things happen, then there's an immediate retribution. And I feel like that the pattern cycles are really speeding up. Like things start, develop, and finish like super quick now. It's like I feel like I'm getting like 10 years of evolution every week, compared to the first up through 20 to the end of 2019, where things seem to go very slow. Well, I guess up through 2023 things went very slow. But now it just things are the whole process happens in a super short period of time.
mm-hmm.
So now that nobody knows what I'm talking about,
No,
give your
I actually do know what you're talking about, because I have experienced the same thing too. Part of it, I think, is the technology that's going on, the AI that's coming
yeah,
out is like completely changing the landscape of everything. For
yep,
instance, I'm working on this thing called vibe coding, where you communicate it through language instead of like writing code, right? So I'm working on this app, which I'm going to come out with at some point. It doesn't happen like magic. You have to actually tell it, and you have to be able to refine it. So you do need to know some. You do need to know how to speak to it and how to explain what you want, and also like to check the code itself. So you do need to know some of that. But the app is I thought a tarot app would be easier than astrology at first. I might work on an astrology one, but even a year ago, I don't think I could have done this. I mean, like I could have painstakingly written the code, but that would have been very like it would have probably taken me
Hours
years.
and hours and hours and hours and
Right.
hours.
And now I'm like, holy cow, I've got something that's not what I want, but a prototype, the version one in like a day. And I'm like, that's amazing. And then I have to like, I'm slower because I'm actually writing the text that goes into it, because it's like a pick a card kind of like, that's my first prototype, is a pick a card where you just go in, you have a thought, you touch a button, it gives you a card and gives you the meaning. I'm not having AI write the meanings for me, because it did that at first.
Right.
And I was like, that's not what we're doing here, because this has my name on it. We're going to put my words into that. So I had it make the design work, and then it like had to keep reiterating it and getting it to work. But my point is that in 2019, that would have been not heard of. And then in, 2023, you could have maybe done something clunky like that. But now, I mean, and when I think about it, I'm like, in a year's time, it's going to be so much better. It's almost unbelievable when you think about it, that how fast the technology is happening, and on some level, from a web developer's perspective, myself, on some level, it's like these older tools that are, I'm going to say they're analog, even though they're not. It's kind of the same thing, though. When we have the analog clock, that was something everybody knew, the analog clock, and then we switched to digital things, and now we're switching to something beyond that, which is, it's like, and the distance between analog clock and digital was like massive, and then digital to the next, whatever you want to call it, it's just my metaphor, but it just seems to be like shortening, so things keep going up and up and up, and it's really unbelievable. I don't know if you follow the AI stuff that's been going on, but like there was some crazy AI things that happened this week or so. Was ChatGPT had an AI in its own like sandbox where it couldn't get into the internet, and it figured a way out to get into an internet, and ended up like going through malicious code to something called Hugging Faces, which is an app developer thing with AI. Something my nephew uses because he's into that kind of stuff. But it you don't even have to teach it. It just figures it out. You tell it the task, and it goes to any length of whatever to get the task done, which is kind of crazy. That's why we need so much safety guards. But I mean, like simple things, like it's even unimaginable to us until we actually see it happening. And I don't know if I'm going off on a tangent now too. But I feel like it's just continuing to speed everything up. So I was relating to what you were saying, I guess. It doesn't
So,
seem to end.
so here, I've had this conversation recently. So here's what I've noticed as to how much AI has jumped in the last 6 months. Six months ago, I would um like we don't have cable or anything. We just stream. We
Yeah, I
downloaded
don't
like
have it either. Yeah.
we downloaded Tubi and Pluto TV and stuff like that onto our smart TV. So we just watch stuff that's free. There's tons of TV shows and movies and stuff like this that we never saw that we can watch. So I would notice, like 6 months ago, I would click on a link. I'd look at something on Amazon, and then I would get a notification on my Facebook, an ad for this movie or CD or book or whatever. And then it would, um, like sometimes I have to use my phone to scan things at work. And so I started noticing that if I scan something at work, um, an ad for that product that had never shown up before would show up on the smart TV. We'd be
Wow.
watching uh we'd be watching something and ads would start coming up for stuff that I had stocked or, picked up and held at work that we did not previously get ads for. Now, what's happening, that was 6 months ago. Now, what's happening, and I think this has to be something with the data centers and Starlink, and I don't know. I'm not sure of the whole circle of death that this entails, but I'm seeing ads for things that I've just thought about. All
Same.
like a random song or a movie that I haven't thought about or heard or watched in a long time, or a product, something that I haven't seen in a long time. It'll pop into my brain. I've not searched it on Amazon. I've not searched it on YouTube. I've not sent anyone an email about it. And the only place it was in my brain, and I'll see an ad for it. I think the battle against Neuralink and all this other, that war's over. We lost. We lost decisively. We need to move on to the next thing that we can. That's They've terraformed the earth to, I'm sure there's some sort of digital prison or something they're trying to create, but they're reading our thought. It's not just algorithms for stuff that we're searching on the internet. They've tapped into our brains and they're showing us stuff that we're just thinking about. It has happened dozens and dozens of times now.
It's it's really unbelievable. I remember it was like 2017 or 16. I wanted to learn Spanish. And so it was before, I don't know, maybe it wasn't before they had these apps that can teach it to you on your phone. But I remember looking up Rosetta Stone, right, on my
Yeah,
computer.
I
And
remember
then
that.
like a year, not a year, like a couple weeks later, it was fairly expensive. A couple weeks later, I'm walking because I didn't have a car at the time, walking to the bus station, and I get this ping on my phone, and I look at him like, Rosetta Stone is on sale somewhere. I don't know where it was. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I ended up buying because it was like $100 off or something. But I was like, wow, because I wanted to learn Spanish. And so I now you're right. It's like that was like a week or so later, but now it's like it's all over the place. It's really wild how that happens. I mean, do you have like an astrological connection to why that could be?
Well, I mean, I think it's, again, the Uranus and Pluto is trine, but trines are not always good things. Uh, you don't want you don't want the technology we use to have all access to everything. Was it last month we were talking about, they think that what Chat GPT or one of them was trying to use CERN to open up portals to, were we talking about that?
I don't
I
remember
was,
that.
I was talking with that about somebody, but they said there was a concern that the AI was tapping into CERN to get it to open portals to other universes. I'm like, we're beyond Skynet at that point. That's
Yeah, that's crazy. D- So I asked, this is a year or so ago. And it's unbelievable. I think there was a lawsuit, if I remember it correctly. If it wasn't a lawsuit, there was definitely like some stuff that was going on that was like it was all over the news. So it was a man with his child who was a teenager, a girl that she started getting sent things like from Pampers and like children stuff. And because of what it was, I believe it was Target, because from Target, right? Like coupons and things like that. And she's
Yeah.
like 16, 17 years old. And the father got like angry because he was like, why are you sending my daughter these baby things? Like, and then she ended up pregnant. So like somehow they were tracking, and I saw a video about it recently too. It was like, but I remember when it happened in real time, and I was like, the video just reminded me of that. But the thing is that they were tracking what you're spending or what you're buying in the store, and then they're like sending you coupons and things like that so you can like, but they're like, that's basically what we're talking about. They're just tracking things. They didn't know. She didn't know she was pregnant at the time. She just was like going, whatever she's buying, they knew from that rhythm, that common thing. It's kind of like the LLMs, right? That the chat GPT is the next, the guess of the next prediction of the next word, So, okay, you
Yeah.
put this and this and this together, then maybe you're going to come out with this. Let's send her some pregnancy coupons or whatever, baby coupons or whatever. But there was a whole big thing about it because the guy was like, how did you know? Like, and then he was mad because he didn't know his daughter was pregnant. She didn't know she was pregnant. And then she finds out she's pregnant, and it ends up being like a big, huge thing. I can't remember if there was a lawsuit or maybe they settled it out of court or something, but there was something that, like, they come to find out that this company, and I'm pretty sure it was Target, was actually, monitoring things so strongly of what people were buying that it was like almost an invasion of privacy. It's really wild because you can't even like, purchase something like without, I mean, if you purchase things online, that's different, but like when you're just in the store, that's also the online, of course, they're tracking everything that you buy, you
So
know.
so let me ask you this. If she didn't know she was pregnant, she wasn't searching or buying diapers.
Right, right.
So,
Maybe it's because she didn't buy contraceptive. I don't know where that came from. How did they put that together? I have no
well,
idea.
was her phone on while she was getting pregnant?
Uh, That's a really good question. I'm gonna look
I'm,
it up because now I have to
I'm
ask
just
Google.
I'm just saying. uh,
Yep, it's how Target figured out a teenage girl was pregnant before her father did. It's actually from 2024. Yep. And that was Forbes. So yeah, I don't know if there's actually an article here. It's gonna make me go under a paywall. It was Target though. I was right. I thought it would be. I thought it was right. I think I can put this so we can see it. Yep. Hot Target. There you go. There's your headline. Oh, maybe it was 2012. Oh, I thought it was 2020, 2024. I don't know. Point being is like whatever you're doing is not private, I guess. That's the
no.
point. The point I'm trying to make. And it's kind of scary when you think about it because you don't really, I mean, like she didn't know that that was what was going to
So
happen to her. Her father was pretty angry about it.
so the question then is, published February 16th, 2012. So the story came out then. So that means they were doing that before then.
Hmm.
So at least whatever, 2011, we'll say. So they're just now putting, they've just been putting the AI stuff out there, the last 2 years, really, pumping it hard, 2 or 3 years. So let's see. So that's a 12-year difference.
I mean,
That,
AI is not new. It's older than us. I think it started in the 60s. It was called ELIZA. I don't know if you know the story of that. So it was, I don't remember the scientist's name, but his name was, oh, I don't know what his name was, but he created uh, the first chat bot, that just did what the chatbots do now, just really slow and predicting, so they just refined it over time, over time, over time. I'm sure they insidiously put it into things that we didn't know about. Why wouldn't they? Of course they would. What do you think our text prediction thing on our phone is? But
Right.
yeah, the AI has been around for like this type of technology has been being developed over decades. So, but in terms of like what is mass produced is what 2022 or 2023 when it started. I think 2022, maybe late 2022, and yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah. So my question is, so there's a minimum, whatever, 12-year difference minimum, probably more like 50 years, built into what they're telling us they can do versus what they're already doing. So if what we're seeing now, what you and I can get on an AI website and do right now, that takes 2 seconds, where are they really at?
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're 12 to 50 years above what they're telling the public is going on.
Definitely, definitely. Yep. They use it first for, their technology. They use it first for the military or whatnot. That's what they'll start with, especially if it's good technology, they'll use it for those reasons. And then they slowly start to leak that out to the world. So what are they doing now? What are they hiding? That's the
What are they
question.
hiding?
Now we're going to have the men in the black suits come knocking at our door.
Yeah, no,
Do you hear them? Oh,
I'm sure that's where
they're
a lot of our
coming for you, Mark.
technical glitches come from.
Like these two
Uh,
astrologers know too much stuff.
yeah, no, that's how it rolls.
That's how it
Uh,
rolls. It's wild. Um, well, on that note, we're
so yeah,
going next to the 12th, which is the solar eclipse and the new moon. We were started to talk about that a little bit. We'll talk about it some more. But I mean, this looks a little bit more like wild of a day just because all the aspects going to the moon. But moving over one day, the 12th this is the eclipse right here. And that is it's just a lot of Leo in there. Um,
yeah.
so, do you
I, I'm
feel,
not I'm not worried about that eclipse.
right? Do you feel like new moons are start of new beginnings, like a new cycle or of sorts?
I think new moons are the proper time to start thinking about things. The new moons almost 100% of the time are so low energy
Mm-hmm.
that they don't, the new moon is opposite of the full moon. All
Yeah.
all the all the bang is at the full moon.
Yeah. That's the
The new
culmination.
moon, yeah. The new moon is when you first start thinking about. That's why I don't start anything on the new moon ever. I don't ever start anything on the new moon. I wait a couple days and because there's even been new moons that were like conjunct Uranus and stuff, and even that felt low energy.
Hmm.
I just I don't. I mean, there are things that happen on the new moon, but it's always like Mars or Uranus stuff, which is rowdy anyways. But just in general, the new moons are low energy. To
Hmm.
me, that's a reset point, and I start planning things on the new, but I don't ever like, oh, I'm gonna wait until the new moon to start. Like, I don't do that. I wait till the next like big aspect or whatever after that, because that's just too. I barely make it through the day on the new moon. I'm just my butt's dragging no matter what sign it is or what degree the new moon's in or whatever. And being that that's an eclipse, that's probably gonna be even lower energy. You know what that looks like? To the here, you'll love this one. Uh, 5 planets in Leo on the new moon and eclipse. That looks like a good day to get a nap in. That looks low energy to me. I'm not saying it looks bad. I'm just saying I feel I'm going to want a nap on that day.
Yeah, but look, in that day we also have the Uranus, uh, Mercury sextile Uranus, and then Uranus is also going to Venus. So we have Uranus, Mercury, Venus. I mean, that is peaking on the 12th too, the Mercury sextile Uranus. So maybe
Yeah,
that will be
and
like an active mind, doing something creative if you feel like doing something. Because it, like you're right, the new moons do seem to be a little bit more low energy, but maybe there's something creative can come out of that.
right, right. Yeah, and I mean there is a Venus, Uranus, Pluto grand trine still.
Oh yeah, that's true
So
too.
that's good for and actually, and Jupiter's in there too. I think that's a good relaxed day, I think.
That's
That
good.
doesn't that doesn't look high energy to me.
That's good because the full moon looks pretty busy.
No, the full moon eclipse is the real deal.
Right. So, okay, let's move on to the 15th, August 15th. Mercury conjunct Jupiter at 10 Leo. So finally, Mercury catches up to Jupiter.
Yeah. I mean, Mercury conjunct Jupiter and Leo. I mean, that's feel gooderies. Looks that should be a fun day. That should have definitely high energy because I think Jupiter's moving towards the trine to Saturn, so that means Mercury's probably trine Saturn also. I mean, that looks like pretty good energy. It should be it should be pretty upbeat. We're past the new moon by 3 days at that point. Um, I mean that all looks positive and enthusiastic, and I'm sure people are going to be very dramatic that day with all those planets in Leo and a Mercury Jupiter conjunction. I think that's gonna. I think that's gonna. You know, that's a good day for. I don't know what day of the week that is. That's a good day to have a party or, to have what is that? The 15th. That's a Saturday,
Oh, yay. Fun.
and the moon's in Libra most of that day. See, that's a good day for a late summer party or a shindig or
Shindig.
or a get together or a hoot nanny. That's 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 a that's a good day to have.
A shindig. I think the shindig sounds fun. I mean, it sounds like the appropriate word for someone from the Midwest. And I'm
Yes.
also from the Midwest, so here we go.
Oh, that's right. You're a Michigander originally, aren't you?
I am. I am a Michigander. Thank God I don't live there now.
Yeah, a little sketchy now.
A little
Uh,
bit. Just a little that bit. Yeah, especially the city I was born in, Dearborn.
ah,
It's yeah, exactly. Enough said.
little little sketchy here in Ohio too.
Yeah? Oh
Yeah,
God, gravy. Where can we go? Where
I,
it's not sketchy.
I hear they're taking reservations for the moon. Maybe that's a
Oh, yeah, I don't want to go to Mars. That's too far.
yeah, too hostile. Too,
Yeah, definitely too
too,
hostile.
too many too many Martians on Mars.
That's funny. So, okay, so then we go to the 17th, Mars square Neptune. I'm really curious about your Mars square Neptune idea here. So let's advance the chart a little bit. What do you feel about Mars square Neptune?
So, so uh, to me that's kind of low energy. That's kind of flat because like, and what's weird is,
It's earlier in the day.
yeah, it's just to me, like if I had to put Mars square Neptune says bad decision making because
Maybe not even like, yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, Mars is anger and Mars is in Cancer, which it doesn't like. Neptune is in Aries, which it doesn't like. Come on in. Come on in. Mars is in Neptune, or Neptune is in Aries, which it doesn't like. Um, it's just, you know, passive aggressive, bad judgment. It's it, misdirected anger. That's something else that I gotta let my dog in real quick here.
Misdirected anger.
Yeah, come on, Boomer.
She needed you to open the door. She's like, yeah, I need you to open the door for me.
Here, you're a good boy.
Oh, your boy.
Yeah, he's the husky German Shepherd mix. So it's gonna pout now. So yeah, it's and two Mars square Neptune is accident prone because it's the energy's trying to go one way and Neptune's saying, yeah, not so much.
Hmm.
So too,
Yeah,
big I'm not a big fan on really pretty much anything square Neptune, but especially like Mars or the moon, or like there's a sense of, I always notice like a sense of delusion or not thinking clearly. Because like, I mean, look, at this point we're forced to do a million more things than we would like to in a day, just out
yeah.
of duties, responsibilities. Got to have 6 jobs to survive in this economy, and all this other stuff. Like, we're already forced to do more things than we want to in a day. So to me, just that Mars square Neptune is just get to me that's a get the minimum stuff you need to get done that day. Don't try to make any big decisions. Just
Yeah,
not
things like seem a little unclear, right?
right. They're fuzzy, but yet there's so just another thing that I see a lot now is people saying they're having problems sleeping. Like, I don't think I've slept all the way through the night in months now, since the Saturn and Neptune entered Aries. Like, I seem to get up like 2 or 3 times a night every night. And it's just all the outer planets are in moderately to excessively chaotic signs for those planets. So there's just an overall an antsiness. Like, even when I'm tired now, like I can't like sit down or anything for a long period of time. Like, I have to like there's just so much inner energy that like I have to just like constantly run it off to, which is great because I have 90 million animals to take care of and stuff. So I need that extra energy, but um yeah, there's just everything has an antsy, uneasy, moderately panicky feel to it. And Neptune is your subconscious, and it's in Aries. Saturn
Mm,
time, and it's in Aries. So Uranus is the collective unconscious. It's in Gemini. Pluto's in Aquarius. There's so much energy that like it takes a lot to like run it all off
yeah, to get it to
back to a normal level.
yeah.
So
I've had the sleeping issues too. I mean, I always have like been a little weird with my sleeping, but it's been way worse than
oh yeah, totally.
normal. And I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, last night I made myself go to bed at like 2, and I'm like I used to go to bed at like 10, and now I'm like I'm going to bed at before 2 o'clock, and I did it. But then I woke up. I set my alarm for 7. I woke up before then. I'm like, how does that even? And I felt fine because I didn't get much sleep. But I'm like, this is like I should have more sleep than 5 hours. It was a little before 2. I went to bed. I'm
Yeah.
like,
No,
it's just weird. I don't
I,
know.
I I run all day long, almost every day, and I beat my alarm clock up most days.
Yeah, me too. It's really weird. And I mean, like my schedule has been like odd where I would stay up half the night and then well most of the night and then go to bed at like early in the morning 5 or 6 in the morning and then sleep till 11 or 12 or 1, depending on when I went to sleep. And like I got my whole schedule completely mixed up like that. And then by the time the next day comes around, it's like 11, 12, 1 o'clock. I get up and like when my brain gets online, I'm like, okay, it's 1, 2 o'clock, and I'm like, oh, I've half my day is gone. So then I spend half that evening because I want to catch up on stuff, and then it's this vicious cycle. But yesterday was my half birthday, so I decided that I was going to force myself to go to bed early, and I did. I was like, "This is a perfect reason. I get up early, I get my things together, and yeah, and I did. So hopefully I can keep up that pattern. But like my sleep has just still not been very like it's been like. And then when I do, I have quick dreams. Do you notice that your dreams have changed at all since this because I feel like my dreams are flashes and I'll remember bits and pieces of them where before I used to be able to like really like write out a whole story in my dream journal, but now it's like I remember there was this and there was that, but I don't remember what it was all about, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's wild. So, okay, we move on a little bit more to the 21st and we have Saturn, Venus opposite Saturn on the 21st. Let's get to that date. So Venus opposite Saturn, um, yeah, it brings something serious to the table, something more like a desire for something more realistic, more concrete, patience, something more like a call for realer expectations, more something sincere. That's
Right.
my opinion. What do you think about that?
Yeah. So to me that kind of looks like that. That's like the end of summer. At
Mm,
the end of fun time, and it's time, for whatever school. Although they send the kids back to school so early anymore, probably they're all probably back in school by then. Um, but to me, yeah, that's kind of so as much as I poke fun at Saturn because I like to do that. Saturn does to me like I don't want this to be a 38-minute rant. I'm going to try and put this into like 2 sentences. So to me, the Venus Saturn opposition it's not fun, but I feel like so much of our society is built on eternally chasing like the next dopamine hit, whatever it is. Um, so to me, when you look seriously at a situation and can see what it is and see what it's not going to be, when you can look at it that way, I think that sets you up to have better days in the future, because you don't have unrealistic expectations of to me, Venus opposite Saturn, at that time of the year, to me, that's a okay, what can I how can I realistically plan out my schedule to so that I get all the stuff I need to get done, I can get done. And then anything above that I get done is a bonus.
Hmm.
To me, that's kind of because again, Venus is, uh, your values, and Saturn is reality. So
Hmm.
if you're whatever it is, whatever your vices are, however your life is set up, to me, that Venus opposite Saturn is okay. How much can I realistically spend on whatever, going out to eat or going to movies or on fun activities or whatever? What's a realistic amount I can plan on spending? It could be spending money, spending time, whatever. How much can I realistically expect to get done and to spend and whatnot? And then if you know again, I think realistically is the key word there.
Yeah, like, but right.
We're kind of like Pavlov's dogs. Like, we have to. I feel like sometimes well, I know. Here, let me rephrase that. I know all the time they're trying to train us to always chase the next dopamine hit,
Yeah, that's definitely true.
whether it's the next craft beer or the next fancy dinner or the whatever you like to spend your free money on. I feel like we're supposed to look at each day as a disappointment if we don't get the special something that day, whatever it is, your favorite cookie, whatever your thing is. Like, maybe you can play it like I don't have to have something special every day, you know
Mm, that makes
like
sense. Yeah.
I'm good. I like to go out and have a good meal, or have the good extra good cookie or dessert or whatever. I like that as much as the next person. But like, I think to me that's a good time to like set a schedule for things, because then when you look at the next day, that's the sun entering Virgo, and that's when, I mean, look, this the sun and anything entering Virgo is the reality that the party's at least temporarily over, isn't it? I mean, that's what that's what it is.
The party is over. Honestly, I look forward to when the sun enters into Libra because that's the turning of the season.
Yeah, yeah.
I do. I really do. That's like my favorite time of year when, because then I've got the whole winter ahead of me and I live in South Florida. So I get to enjoy that because,
The weather's better than.
but Virgo, I mean, the summer is my worst time of year. I don't know about you, but like summer is just the pits for me. And I don't know. I've always wondered this, and that's why I know like my half birthday is, but one, my father was born on like just before my half birthday. He was the 19th of July, so his like right at the end of Cancer, and I'm at the beginning of Aquarius. So I was, when I started learning astrology, I always remembered that. So I always kind of had in the back of my mind it's my half birthday around this time, and I noticed, and that's maybe I've thought maybe it's because I have all these early Aquarian planets that when the sun comes around to being opposite, these early Aquarian planets like pulling me out of my norm. That's where I've come to think of the way I've come to think of it. I don't know if that's really true, but I do know that summer is more difficult for me in a lot of different ways. I feel like I just don't have like everything together. Like my just like feel like I'm not fully like myself. But then come like the equinox in September after Virgo, I feel like things start to piece back together for me. But I don't have any planets in Virgo or Pisces, so maybe that's part of it. And they're like intercepted signs, so
Yeah.
um, you
But
know.
no, I think you're totally. I mean, because my birthday's the first day of spring,
Right.
so I like probably spring. I probably like spring the best, and then it would be like fall, summer. There's certain parts of summer I definitely like better than certain parts of fall, but um, and then like winter. I mean, because I live in Ohio, it's like winter. Winter
Winter's rough. Yeah. That's part of it too. The winter's
here.
yeah, it's so even in the winter it's hot here. I mean, it's not always like hot like it is in summer, but summer's like hell. Like it's like you take a shower, you go outside, you're all clean and everything, go outside just to get to your car and you're like, I just showered in my clothes again for a second time because it's so humid and hot and everything's sticking to you and you're just like, I walked 10 feet to my car and I turned the air the AC on, but it is what it is. What are you going to do? Be snowbirds, I guess that's why they do that. Okay, so now that we're talking about Virgo, the sun moves the next day on the 22nd into Virgo. So, da 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 da, Virgo seasoning. Oops, Virgo seasoning. I went too far ahead. Virgo season. There we go. And that's the fun. That happens probably a little later in the day because it's still at 29. Leo. Um, and then we have Mercury entering into Virgo right after that. So it'll be on the 25th. So this happens the 22nd and the 25th. This is towards the end of the summer, I guess, right? It's still hot in Florida though. That's the problem, I think. I
And you know what? Being a well, you're a cuspy too. See, being my my feelings about the seasons are weird because like I'm the last day of winter, but actually, see, in my head, Pisces is spring, but
right.
I'm the last day of Pisces. So
Yeah.
it's and two, like from when you're young, you associate Virgo with it's time to go back to school. But like
Yeah.
it's the first 3 weeks of September are summer, on the calendar.
Yeah.
It's summer. To me, there should be a shift in that. Maybe we should change the calendars. Like August 22nd, whatever, is the beginning of fall. And then two, that would um move it up and like uh the end of Scorpio season would be the end of fall, and the first day of Sagittarius would be the beginning of winter. And that mentally, that makes more sense to me because I think of Thanksgiving as more like not necessarily winter, but sometimes sometimes the weather is very winter like on
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Up north.
Because
Not here.
right. So part of the problem, I know nobody cares about any of this, but so to me, part of I love Halloween. So the sun is always on my south node on Halloween.
Oh
So
wow.
I always jive with that. And so to me, the last 2/3 of Scorpio is way different than the first third of Scorpio. I love the first third of Scorpio. The last 2/3 of Scorpio just seems to be like not as fun.
Mm, interesting.
So I'd
Yeah.
say let's make November 22nd the first day of winter. And then that would make the first day of Pisces. So like February 20th, then first day of Pisces would actually be the first day of spring. So if we just bumped everything up a little bit, and two, kids are getting out of school. That when I was younger, kids would get out of school like the first week of June. Now
Yeah.
they're getting out late May, which
Yeah.
that would coincide with like May 21st being the first day of summer. And I'm good with that. Let's move all the seasons up 1 month. That would feel more
I'm going to
logical.
write an email to the sun and make sure that we get this adjusted.
Well, you carbon copy me on that. You
I
see,
will BCC you on it. Don't worry.
in case the sun has any
I'll be like, if you
question,
have a problem, go to this guy, talk to him.
in case Mother Nature's not on board with your email, she can come to me and I'll explain to her the benefits.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Okay, I don't even know what I was.
Well, I'm
Did you
kind of
ask me a
keeping
question like 7 hours ago?
I'm kind of keeping track of where we're at with they got the sun in Virgo on the 20th, 22nd, and we've got the Mercury meets Virgo on the 25th meets Virgo. Okay. And then we have the sun conjunct Mercury Mercury at 5 degrees of Virgo. And I mean, but before we even wait, what? Sun conjunct Mercury at 5 degrees Virgo. Okay. I don't know. I don't know what I was reading there. Um, maybe you made a typo or I just misread something. What I was interested in when I was looking at this though is that we have the sun, the south node, and we have Mercury in a couple days prior to this, that they're all really close to each other.
And I think we're still in that period. Mercury's moving super fast at
Yeah.
that point.
Mercury's blazing away.
So
Hmm.
if Mercury enters Virgo early on the 25th, by the 20, so I for the numbers on these, I kind of round to the closest one.
Okay.
So like the sun may be at 5 or well, no, that's when the exact conjunction. But maybe that exact conjunction is late on the 27th.
Hmm. So
So
the
as
22nd.
fast as Mercury only spent 2 weeks and 2 days in Leo, so it was moving, more than a degree a day.
Yeah, wow, that's wild.
So maybe the sun, maybe that Sun Mercury conjunction is really at 4:38, or something like that.
And
So
that Sun Mercury conjunction it's wild because isn't that the midpoint between the it's the midpoint between the cycles of Mercury retrograde. When does Mercury go retrograde again?
about 3 months,
Is it really, or is
it,
it because it's going
because
faster?
it just ended.
I
So it
know,
should,
but is it really? Because I want to look at the ephemeris. Let me open it up because it might be. I don't know because it's on the short side of the.
so the
Okay,
next Mercury retrograde is October 23rd.
so it gets out
Right,
of
August.
retrograde June, right? July. Sorry, my mistake. So July 24th.
Yeah. So July 24th is when it's ending the retrograde.
Right.
October 23rd is when it's starting the next one.
Yeah, I guess it is still the 3 months. I didn't know because it's moving so fast if it was going to end up being um if it was going to end up being quicker. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because it moves super fast through Virgo, but then it looks like
It slows down in Scorpio, and it gets
it,
almost to the end of Scorpio before it ends up going retrograde, and then it's all in the
yeah, yeah,
Scorpio.
yeah.
Yeah,
All the Mercury retrogrades are in water signs this year. So yeah,
yeah,
it's almost 21 degrees Scorpio before it goes retrograde there.
yeah. Wild. So what do you feel about the Sun conjunct Mercury? I mean, I know it doesn't last very long, but that's a good time for like focusing yourself on something, right?
Sun conjunct Mercury and Virgo is making lists.
Are you gonna make lists of your lists?
Yes, you make lists of all the stuff you didn't get done during the summer so you can put it into um so
Put it into the cicada book that never actually arrived. Did they ever come? It was just like they.
you know what? We got like two cicadas that year. I think they
What
make
about
over generalizations on this stuff, and it's like
what about this year? Do they come every year?
so yes, I've heard some this year, but like I think what I think what happened is there's large groups. I don't know what we've had this conversation before. There's large groups of cicadas. I don't know. I can't remember what a group of cicadas is called.
It's a brood. It's a brood.
The brood. It's a brood of cicadas. Oh God.
It is a brood. That's what they call it. It's a brood.
Um.
I've heard that.
So yeah. But I think there's a few that come out every year. I think they're mixing like apples and orangutans. I think there's one large group of cicadas that comes out every so many years, but that group isn't the same every place. Like I feel like we should just move on from this before this turns before this just
I didn't
turns
have cicadas on the list of things, but maybe we should put them in there.
like cicadas was not on my bingo card for August.
I don't think they come out in August. I think that's too late in the year for them.
That's that's probably correct. They usually I think they come out like in the like late
Spring.
spring. I think once it starts getting warm.
But is it your spring or is it the spring or is it your spring? So that's the real question. Luna would
I
like to
think
say,
wherever the like warmish spring starts.
hi. She's very shy, but she's the general.
um,
She's the general of the house. She's my little familiar. Oh, you purring? You're purring?
uh,
Oh, so fancy. She's so funny. She's a little. Anyway, we got interrupted with cicada talk with the Luna over here, the general.
right. So, Sun conjunct Mercury is
Look,
getting everything you let go loosey goosey for the previous couple months. It's getting things narrowed down back into a usable formation. Also, that's my friend Randy's birthday, so happy birthday, Randy. Um, and actually, he lives in Florida now.
oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Um,
After the Sun conjunct Mercury on the 28th
okay,
that's when the full
that's
moon.
the
That's when the
crazy full moon.
eclipse happens. Yeah.
That's the crazy full moon.
Oh, it's the
Um,
crazy full moon. Now you're gonna get
that's
all
that's
sensitive
the
on it.
that's the crazy eclipse. Yes, with all the Sun, Jupiter, Pluto, Moon, Mercury, Uranus. all those guys involved in that full moon.
Look at that eclipse. That's like that is an intense eclipse. And I mean, it'll be interesting to see what will happen during this time. um,
Yeah.
I
Uh,
mean,
yeah.
even Mars is at the midpoint. I haven't looked at the midpoints themselves, but Mars is at the midpoint of the Uranus and the Uranus and the
Yeah.
Sun. Let me pull those midpoints up. I'm just curious.
Yeah. Mars is at the midpoint of Jupiter and Uranus.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that's,
Mhm. I just want to
yeah,
check these
that's,
other things
that's
out.
heavy duty.
Yeah,
That's,
that is heavy duty. That's intense. Look, see, it's Uranus at the midpoint of Sun and Sun and Moon, and then Moon Mercury, because I got Mercury and the Moon are conjunct, right? Or Mercury and the Sun are conjunct. That's why. And then Mars is at the midpoint of. Let me go back to the chart and look. Uranus and the Sun. Yeah, it's wild. This is going to be so compared to the one that's happening in July. What are you feeling like this one is going to be like?
versus the
The
one
like
happening
July one. Yeah.
early August.
Well, no, I meant the full moon in July.
Oh. So the full moon in July is
This
in,
is July right here.
that says August.
Mm, give it a second. Are you watching on YouTube? It's a little bit of delay, like a
Oh,
few second
okay.
delay. Yeah, the July 29th is when it happens. And then it will go on the 28th of August.
Okay. All right. There we go. Yeah. So to me the July one is a full moon in fixed signs. So that is a little more stable. Although I mean that's super powerful. I mean that's a Sun Jupiter conjunction opposite a Moon Pluto conjunction.
Mm-hmm.
So that's super. What the thing there is that like Uranus is, trine to Jupiter Pluto and it's sextile the Sun Jupiter. The full moon, the August full moon, which is in the mutable signs, I
That's
found
this
that
one.
like when there's a full moon like in the mutable signs, especially with all this additional stuff in it, those feel like more unhinged to me. Like those are more like, am I going crazy full moons? Because like everything, there seems to be no boundaries. Like everything is just going everywhere because it's chaotic mutable energy, and most of all of them in stressful or chaotic aspects. So to me, that August eclipse, um, is it feels much wilder. The July one at least has some boundaries because that's all fixed energy. This one this one feels more chaotic, more all over the place. Um, because too, just with the look, I know that Mercury rules both Gemini and Virgo, but that doesn't change the fact that Gemini and Virgo are square to each other. So as much as there's some similarities uh, between the two Mercury ruled signs, they they pack a whole bunch of chaos because Uranus wants disruption. Virgo wants to get to the heart of the crisis. So
Mm.
while Gemini and Virgo are ruled by the same sign or by the same planet, there's a large amount of chaos that can be that's involved. And in fact, there is just I may have made a post on Facebook a couple weeks ago, or I guess it was a week ago, about the the yucky feeling you feel being the Uranus and Gemini square Venus, and a lot of people didn't like it, but yet I was in fact correct that for a lot of people that was a yucky feeling. I was one of those people.
Ah.
And so it was I don't know what y'all want with like a Venus Uranus square, but what you're going to get is a bunch of chaos and a bunch of disruption. If you're wired for chaos and disruption, then sure, that probably feels good. I am not. I am where chaos comes to die. So I am constantly fighting against it because every day I'm overscheduled for what I want to get done every day. I have more on my plate than I'm going to get done. So I don't want the chaos and disruption. Venus square Uranus, it was super chaotic. Because it was no, it was a Venus moon conjunction square Uranus. That's right. Uranus is square the moon and Venus. I had people trying to tell me that a moon Venus conjunction could not be bad. I'm like, no, it can be. I mean, it's square to Uranus. And also, let's be honest here. I love my Virgo people, but a moon Venus conjunction in Virgo is not the same as a moon Venus conjunction in Cancer or Scorpio or Libra, or moon Venus conjunction in Virgo can pack a wallop.
It can pack a wallop, huh?
It can pack two wallops.
Oh, two of them. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot. It's a lot of
It can
wallops.
pack two wallops.
A lot of wallops. I don't even know what to say about that. This
Do we have
like
to make a list of wallops now?
list of wallops, I think.
Yeah.
Multiple lists of them. Okay.
Oh God.
So on the 28th, we also have the Sun square Uranus. Did you say that already? Yeah, we did talk about the Sun. What am I talking about? We did talk about that.
Yeah.
No, not the Sun.
Oh. Yep.
Venus, you said something.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, we combined all of that into so that's going to be. I mean, that's an eclipse. It's Mercury thrown in, Uranus square, all of them. It's going to be high chaos. I'll leave it at that.
Wear your seatbelts, please.
Wear your seatbelts,
life
please.
in general on the 28th. And then to top off August, we have an awesome Jupiter trine Saturn. So Jupiter trine Saturn, and that is on the 31st. Yay, Jupiter trine Saturn. I mean, and the moon at the same time. So hey, have fun.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Jupiter trine Saturn should be.
You're organizing your list then.
You're organizing
your alphabetical order by number, the numbers, numerical, alphabetical, something.
So Jupiter trine Saturn, that's good. That is good for organizing. That's a good like business. Like if you're going to start a business, like Jupiter trine Saturn is is probably a good one to have, because Jupiter is expansion and growth, but Saturn keeps that growth
A good leash.
on a good leash, right? You don't want too much growth at once, because then you can't handle it and it blows up in your face.
I always
So
think about Jupiter Saturn as like planning. I mean, maybe that's more like Jupiter Saturn conjunctions, but that there's a planning. It's a good time to plan things, to organize yourself a little bit. I don't know if organize is the best word, but to get yourself, this is what I want to do, where I want to grow, but also without like losing your mind and just going, oh, yay, so much fun, growth. And then you don't end up having the ground
right,
to make it happen. Yeah.
and the Jupiter luck helps the Saturn planning, and so just Jupiter. Um, I totally forgot what I was going to say. So yeah, Jupiter is expansion. Saturn is planning. That's a good mix. And the Jupiter. Oh, here's the Jupiter optimism helps ease up. Jupiter's not going to tell Saturn what to do, but the Jupiter influence can ease the Saturn rigidity up a little bit.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. It keeps the Saturn softened a little bit, and then Jupiter
Yeah.
also, Saturn keeps Jupiter restrained to not go out of
Right. Not
orbit.
go berserk and spend every dollar in 2 seconds.
That makes sense. And it's like I said, that's also the moon is getting involved in there with that. Mm. Just of course, it's only brief that happens. And Jupiter Saturn will be a longer aspect.
Yeah.
So that wraps up August. So yeah, what you have any final words for August?
I'd say make sure you do oops. Make sure you do all the fun things you want to do, like the first 2.5 weeks of the month. That way you're uh, more able to focus on the other things the last half of the month, where it gets a little dicier.
It gets a little dicier. That's a good way to put it. Dicier. Well, that
Yes.
makes sense. That makes sense. All right. Well, this was fun, of course, as always. And I'm glad we didn't have as many technical difficulties despite Mercury being stationed.
Right now. And the moon being in a 38,000 void of course period.
When does it get out of void, of course?
9 tonight at 9
Eastern?
9:07 Eastern. Yep.
Hmm, fun. That's always fun. It's a good day to take a nap.
And it would be a good day to take a nap, but I'm going to start on animal chores.
Yeah, life has to still happen.
And I think I have a reading this afternoon too. So,
There you go. All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching. If you made it this far, we'll see you next month. And I hopefully know how to stop the stream this time. Maybe. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Have a good